how was your pee break?
My pee break?
They might flash you unintentionally.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I, too, am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. What is up, everybody? Happy Friday? No? The longest day week of all time. Monday. Holy shite. I'm just going to be 100 with you. I almost Irish exited out of this before it even started. I was like, I don't know if I can do the show tonight. Cause like normally I'm like extra giving like the Greatest Showman coded. And I almost bailed on you guys tonight. I'm just going to be honest before it even started. And I said, I'm just going to come raw dog. Take me as I am, like Lady Gaga, I was born this way. Except like I don't have like a dick that I'm tucking. Like it's all just me raw, but it's just one of those days. I woke up, not to seem, there's shit going on in the world. So now I hate it when people seem like out of touch and woe is me. But again, I'm just being 100 with you, like take it or leave it. I don't care. But like I woke up like with a bad hair day. I woke up like the bride of Chucky. And I had a big meeting downtown Nashville first thing this morning, and I had a barf bag in the car because it's very AOC-coded, as you may know. I'm starting my egg freezing journey, and I haven't even begun. Okay, this is the girl who, unless I am held hostage, like on the set of the movie Room, I won't even take an Advil, okay, or a Tylenol. And so before you start doing the shots, they have you on birth control. So I've been on it for a week. I'm nauseous. I'm the Pillsbury Dough girl, non-gender conforming, the Pillsbury Doughboy. No, like I'm not even the Pillsbury Doughboy girl on like your package of cookies. I am the one in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Like my pants aren't even buckled right now. I'm just going to be honest. And I'm like, holy shit. This is from the birth control alone. Because my body I'm very sensitive. I'm not used to it. I don't roll like that. And I'm like, wow, the actual shot, like it is, buckle up because it is going to be a journey once we start. So yeah, all that to say, I felt like a little bit off kilter. And even if I'm being honest, like, how could you not, if you don't have a pulse, unless you don't have a pulse, but like very melancholy over the Hayden Panettiere stuff. It's terrible, and last night I was already down a rabbit hole last night because guys, and if we get to it in this episode, I will after we have BlackRant on who's backstage. But I discovered it's a whole new world. Okay, I discovered the very explosive, polarizing topic and the politics of like the trad wives versus not world. And it is a whole thing. I read the book yesteryear. I read or listened to Strangers, which isn't trad wife per se, but like is also a mental fuck in one day yesterday. Okay. So I was already oblivious down this vortex of all of this, like reading think pieces and everything. And then all of a sudden, when your stomach just like drops, I get the TMZ thing right away, like Hayden Panettiere dead at 36. And it's just like when you have that, immediate like sinking feeling of like tragedy, panic. And what particularly was so, I'm sure like many of you, like what was so shocking is how she just, literally 3 weeks ago, was talking about this new memoir. She came out with A Reckoning and Facing Her Demons, the Jay Shetty interview she did that went viral, talking about, all of her struggles and abuse and addiction and her daughter, and now like having this lease on life and so much to look forward to. And, we can, pick it apart and investigate it and give theories all day long. And I'm not here to do that. But obviously it just goes to show, what we talk about here all the time, which is like, you never know what's going on in someone's life. And again, I think that's what makes it so particularly shocking, is because she was just in this era again, not even like a month ago of this turning a new leaf and coming to terms with everything and being like, I have so much life left to lead. And, you know, again, a memoir, only to die, I think like 5 days before her 37th birthday and like right on the heels of all this. So it's obvious, like even in her eyes, how much she was, you know, that Gayle King CBS interview, how much, even Jay Shetty, how much she was suffering and you know, hurting. I mean, it's so obvious and horrible and tragic. And, you know, that's, again, was my conclusion. I don't know about you, but really just like, again, you never know what's really going on in someone's life. All the more reason to be more skeptical of the Instagrams and the this and the that. Like, you never know. So it's tragic, you know, and it's awful. But kind of switching gears a little bit is BlackRant, who we have backstage. And like I said, guys, we're going to kind of give you high level takeaways from the great debate, the Andrew Wilson, Candace Owens showdown. I came on Friday and gave my take, especially after being someone who's interviewed, Jesus, kill me, debated Andrew Wilson. Although I offered him an interview and he and his wife chickened out. But I'm interested to see what BlackRant says now that the dust has settled, now that everybody has had their say. And then after that, let's see if we can get into some of the Tradwife stuff, because like I said, it has had me in a chokehold and I can't unsee it all. And wow, it is, I get why it is such an explosive topic right now. And everybody, and I feel like I'm sort of, again, I was like, am I living under a rock? Like, am I living in a churning butter like batch itself that I don't know this? But it's a whole thing. And like, feeling kind of like torn between the worlds, but also like an arm's length, because it doesn't have to pertain to me, but also everybody's like who's involved is feeling so like personally victimized by it, like Regina George. It's a whole thing. So without further ado, BlackRant, the only influencer that I actually like. Welcome to the chat. There he is.
That cannot possibly be true.
No, but it actually is a thing. Everyone is like fucking annoying. And when I see your content, I'm like, I actually laughed. He actually made a point. Like everyone else is like vapor. No offense to them. Oops. Did I say too much? Did I say that out loud?
No. I mean, I appreciate it, but I think that's going to be necessary in this age of AI, man. I mean, you got to put your own unique fingerprint on everything, and it's got to be entertaining. It's got to be fun. It's got to be insightful, and you have to do it and staying within this algorithmic ghetto. What can I say?
Not the algorithmic ghetto. I'm crying. No, and it's like a ghetto of our minds, but you're exactly right. I say it all the time. Like the copy and paste influencer better watch out, because the AI influencers are going to come for their look, their bag, their this, their voiceover, their get ready with me. Like they don't even know. So it actually takes having like somewhat of a strand of a personality to survive. Like you and your nice polo. Look at your, I like your, it's very like Hollister 2008. Like I'll take it.
Yeah.
So, all right. High level takeaways. You and I were both watching the debate in real time. Now that we've seen some reaction over the weekend, what are you feeling about everything and like just the state of the internet, critical thinking, lack thereof, all of it? Like, what's your takeaway?
Well, when I was watching it, I felt like it was obvious who was winning. But then over the weekend, I started to see, some responses. Obviously, I saw Candace Owens. We already knew how her fan base and people were going to respond to her. That's already a given. So that's not something that I really paid too much attention to, except for what specifically they were saying, why the reason why she won. But then it started to dawn on me that this debate, if we're going to call it a debate, because it wasn't really a debate, like it was a debate in the sense of, hey, you have to prove your point. Here's your reasons, all that stuff. But it wasn't a debate in the sense that, it was at her house. Patrick Bet-David was moderating, kind of. And then Candace Owens.
It was at her house?
Yeah. It was at her house.
I assumed they flew her. Oh, because that's why she was like, I set up the studio. Because I've been to the PBD, the Valuetainment, I've been to the whole headquarters. I assume they flew her down to Miami.
You're super cool. I haven't met any of these people, but yeah. No, it was at her house. Yeah.
The audacity. Okay, 300K, and also if you could just come to my porch, thanks. Like,
Right. Well, I mean, she's, barefoot and pregnant, so okay, sure, whatever, but
not barefoot. Is she pregnant again right now?
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't
Well,
keep track anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. I have a theory on that, but it's a little X-rated, so we can talk about that offline. But
no, wait, what is it? Wait. This is way more interesting. No.
Well, I don't want her to sue me, but it's just I have a theory about it. And it's a little X-rated, but we can talk about it later. But Patrick Bet-David was not doing. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. He was not doing the best job of moderating, right? I mean, I understand where he was coming from. You're talking about somebody who's a staple within the conservative movement, Candace Owens, or stable within politics media, because I won't even call her conservative at this point, especially after what Hassan Piker said. He basically gave her the crown, called her the queen, and said, thank you for saving left-wing politics, Candace Owens, which this is what I've been thinking for the last 11 months. But I started to understand. That's
the thing is right. Like she started to be the more and more that I watch and more arm's length. I was like, I could see not only people I know who are super left, whatever you want to call it. They're so lost in the sauce, like how it aligns with that. Like that's how far gone. It's like they're now one and the same. And she's preaching. They're very. Ethos.
She ran cover for them. I mean, it's almost like Martin Luther King gets shot, and then you basically say no, it wasn't a racist, it wasn't a Klansman, it was Jesse Jackson. Like that's kind of what she's basically done. Literally. So yes, it makes sense Hassan Piker would do that. So
that tells you everything you need to know, right? I mean,
it should, but
you know what? And I thought this so Rob said the same thing as you. He's like, I think that Andrew is doing such a great job at proving she has no evidence. All of this is like, I just feel this, yada, yada, yada. There's no proof, right? But I actually felt completely opposite. And I think I texted you this in real time. I said, she is so quick. She's so compelling and mentally quick and charismatic and like, PBD, and spins things that I think, and you had said this as well, like Andrew was too like kind of resting on his laurels of like, I got this, that I think for people, many of her like mouth breathing followers who aren't privy to think critically will, and as they are now, being like, she owned him, right? Because they're not even thinking past the point of like, wait, is any of this making sense? Is this mathing? And because she's so theatrical and quick, it makes it look like she's totally owning him. And that's where I personally, it's kind of a showman thing. That's where I don't think Andrew did the best job at being like, what do you mean? You've insinuated, like, help me understand. Like, did Erica I wanted him to press her and be like, you've basically insinuated Erica Kerr killed her husband, TPUSA, BB, Israel, like, make it make sense, right? And so they're still in my comments like, he got owned, and that again tells you everything you need to know, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I will say this is number one. I think that this, as the months go on, this debate will start to unravel for people, because obviously Candace's base is going to celebrate anything that she does. She goes and slips outside on a piece of ice, and oh my God, she did an amazing dance move. It's like everything that she does is glorious. This was a failure for anybody who understands what a debate actually is. So I think that it will unravel over the next few months, and people will start to see as the clips come out that she actually didn't have a point. She didn't actually have any evidence. The second point is, I think that she decided to take that stance of, these are my feelings, because this was kind of like a fishing expedition for Andrew Wilson, which is why Candace Owens was saying she thought that Turning Point USA put him up to this. I don't think that that's the case, but she does, because this was a fishing expedition to get her on tape to say something that could make her legally liable. And she was trying to avoid liability by saying, well, this is what I think, this is what I feel, this is what even though on her show, she said these things, she can use the excuse, or at least she thinks, or her lawyers think that she can use the excuse of the show is entertainment. The debate is actually a debate. Like, so she doesn't have any control over the platform of Patrick Bet-David per se, at least not to my knowledge. And then number three, like, they're at her house. So I was telling you when we were texting about the long breaks. It's like, what's going on in these breaks? And I watched Andrew Wilson's live stream yesterday, and he basically said during one of the breaks, she had her phone. She brought, she said, "Oh, I was just on my X account," but he saw this, shit-eating grin on her face, and he said, "Oh, she found something. She's gonna come at me. She's gonna come at me with a gotcha." And that's where the list the 7 charges thing came from. And I've been talking to all my friends who are very intelligent. The 7 charges has absolutely nothing to do with the point of the debate. Now, Andrew Wilson failed. He messed up, sure. But what does that have to do with the price of China? The point of the debate was for her to prove that the burden of proof was more so on Candace than Andrew. Andrew didn't even have a difficult job. It was Candace's job after 11 months of accusing everybody under the sun to prove why you're accusing all these people. The 7 charges has nothing to do with anything. Like, oh my God, she can list the 10 commandments. Like,
See,
oh
but
my
that's
God.
the part, I'm not gonna lie. And I said to Rob, I was like, see, this is again where you do have to know your shit. And he didn't know. And that's where again it's like fuel for her base to be like, oh, see, he didn't even know. He did, and so it's just
it wouldn't have mattered what happened. Her base is always going to rock with her.
She could say the sky is green. The sky is green. Guys, it's green. And you know what? As we close this out here for now, because we know this is just the beginning, 3 things really stick out for me. One is obviously like the lack of critical thinking, right? And like the disease of brain rot of just like following somebody because they said and because they're convincing and charismatic. But this idea that Candace Owens is kind of hidden under the shield of, I was friends with Charlie. We have videos, traveling the country, TP, all this stuff, right? I was his friend. I care. And I'm going, you've completely defaced his entire life, his family. Is this how you treat a friend? What are we talking about? But the bigger point, right, is this could have been predicted, right? Like, this is what happens when the powers that be mess with you, tell you, gaslight you, and tell you what you see here. That it's not really whatever it is, the media, the government, pharma. And so, but the swing then is the Candace Owens army, that everything it's the gospel. And it's like now too far of no sanity or like questioning things so much to where it's like conspiracy lane,
Yeah, it's kind of predictable in the sense that anything that the Trump administration was going to do was always going to fall short of the imaginations of the people who voted for Trump, who don't really understand how the real world works. And that's who Candyland has taken in. That's the refugees from MAGA that Candyland has taken in and has given shelter to. The people who had such amazingly high hopes and were sold a bill of goods. I gotta say, Trump's a great salesman, so he kind of did put on this great sales pitch. But if you don't understand the way the real world works, and you're not really familiar with how, it takes time to dismantle and reassemble, key pieces of government and industries and our society, you're gonna sit there and go 5 months after Trump got elected, where's this? Where's that? The boondoggle, the mishandling of the Epstein files made people lose trust. Obviously, the way that they handled the Charlie Kirk assassination made people lose trust. But what people must understand, especially in this age of the internet, which I don't think anybody's going to understand, especially not because I say it, but what people are missing in the age of the internet, just because you have an opinion about something doesn't mean you're right. Just because you don't like the way the Trump administration or the FBI handled the situation doesn't mean that you're right, that there's some grand conspiracy about something.
That's true. Right,
or definitely not in the direction that Candace Owens is pointing, because I saw, and I'm going to find this clip and I'm going to make a post about this, but there's a clip of Charlie Kirk saying, listen, I don't agree with the war in Iran. I don't want this to happen. But if Donald Trump does it, I'm going to back Donald Trump because he's my friend.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, dude, there's two clips of him saying it. There's one on Fox News and there's one that he said on his own radio show. And I have the radio show clip. I got to find the other one. This would be such a key point to dismantling the argument for people that think, oh, well, Charlie was killed because he wasn't going to back Israel. First of all, that's not Israel's MO. That's not how they do things. And secondarily, why would they do that if they know at the end of the day they still have an ally? If they still have somebody on their team who's not going to rail against them, it makes no sense. It just, on top of that, she can't put any evidence together. But
right, exactly. And again, all of it, I hate the co-opting of like thinking freely, because that's all I'm getting now in my comments. And it's like, you guys have literally lost the plot. And like the gaslighting is so insulting to our intelligence. Like even your point, you know, the Israel thing, that was my first, because I was bought into Canada, the Macron stuff, some of the Blake, I was bought in. I'm like, I can't even believe I wasted brain cells and time. But that was my first huge giveaway that all of this was a grift, because it's like insinuating Israel and said, here's Bibi, like, no, pretty sure I didn't. And she's like, what? Why would you? That's weird. What? Got something? Why would you even say? Like, it's so insulting to us and our brains that I just can't. So
I found it. I'm not gonna. This will be my. You know, if you got to go, but I found it very ironic that even during the debate, Candace Owens said herself that weird behavior is not enough to convict somebody of a crime. It doesn't mean they're guilty. She said it in the debate. I put that in my post that I had on Instagram. Which is hilarious, because literally after she met with Candace Owens, that's all she did was refer to Erica Kirk's behavior to justify why she was accomplice or complicit in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Bibi Netanyahu is obviously a strange guy, okay? He's a weird guy. He's a politician. He's a political creature, okay? He's going to act weird. Just because he acts weird doesn't necessarily mean he's involved in anything either. But I think what you have is a lot of these, overprotective moms who either fell for COVID or didn't fall for COVID, who are vengeful, spiteful, that would even be attempted on them. And now, like you said, everything must be distrusted. And the only thing, when you have tunnel vision and you've been you're in an abusive relationship and you have tunnel vision, the only thing that you trust is that one person who guided you out of it. And Candace Owens is that one person. So they fixate on her. If she's wrong, then my entire worldview is wrong. Like, they have nothing else after that.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's true. So we'll see, and you're always like very steady and, even keel. I'm like, you're like, don't get emotionally invested. You got to just stay higher level. And I do. I mean, I look at the people who it's crazy, like moths to a flame. And I'm thinking, man, it's going to get even crazier with AI and information and how we get out of this. I don't know. Does it take voices stronger, more powerful than the likes of Candace Owens? Does it take something exposing her once and for all? I don't know. I mean, it remains to be seen, but what is your X-rated theory? What does it allude to? How about if you want to drop hints? I feel like you're being coy. I told you, don't think the blondes forgot.
No, I don't think blonde has anything to do. Your intelligence is much higher than people might think. I'm not. That's not a. You're a very smart person, but I don't want to get sued by Candace Owens, which is part of the reason why people don't really go after her. Let's just say it has something to do with milking. Let's just put it like that.
With milking? Yeah,
like
milking,
like a cow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, don't make me explain this. I just gave you a compliment about your intelligence.
Do I play dumb blonde so I can get more context?
No. We're
whatever.
We're gonna keep the show PG-13.
Not on my show. I don't know what program you've heard of. This isn't Gossip Girl, but let's just say the things I've heard from people very close, allegedly, let's just say things. It's not all what it seems. Peachy Keen, the husband, the whole thing behind the scenes, this whole my husband loved my life, da-da-da. You don't know. Kind of the basis.
I mean, if it were, would she be slobbering over a dead man right now for the last year? No.
Just saying. BlackRant, I will get the milking. Somebody Urban Dictionary milking for me. He's proving the dumb blonde stereotype true. My God, after all that. BlackRant, appreciate you as always. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
See you soon. All right, guys. So, wow, what a journey. What a journey. We're going to see with all of this. And it kind of, I'll cap it out the last couple minutes with what I've learned in my short time in the trad wife politics war with like the feminists, the mainstream. It's so wild. But it's sort of all of us, even if we're joking about Candace Owens' private life, right? How like nothing is as it seems. And I really got into all this because I read the book Yesteryear, which if you don't, it's gone viral. It was published in the spring, first time author. And the premise is a trad wife influencer who has millions of followers and is somehow wakes up and is forced to live in the 1800s, like lifestyle she actually preaches, right? And it is, people warn me it is unhinged. It is, this author, she makes her feelings known. Like I said, debut book about the trad wife thing, because she will beat you over the head with it in the end, and she really does not hide. She takes it there. That said, again, I went into this like a virgin touch for the very first time. I didn't have any preconceived notions about the trad. It's not my world, right? I loved the book. I found it. I like couldn't put it down. It was like, I felt like I needed to take a shower reading it. And it just takes you like to literally another dimension. Like it is so crazy and unhinged. But peeling back the layers and talking to people who were personally pissed off by it. And again, there's all these politics involved. I guess there's like a Ballerina Farm or something. There's a huge, like there's two OG like trad wife influencers who blew up in the pandemic, right? Like making their own bread, being at home, and people were really intrigued by this being home, yada, yada, blew up. Apparently, it's like the unspoken thing. It's like known, but not that this book is based off of that big trad influencer, and the authors, has shut it down and all this, right? And I know people who are personally pissed off because of this whole thing of the trad wife stigma, and they're saying like very, as almost as if it's like their own views are being these people they're coming at them, right? And they're saying these trad wives are not just barefoot, subservient doormats to the husband. Like they're disciplined, they're hardworking, they're rich, they have businesses, they have husbands who love them, kids, they have it all. And these feminists are just out with like an axe to grind because they're just casting this judgment of being these, again, like, subservient doormats. And the thing to me that was so fascinating, right, is how we're in this climate where it's like certainly the left, which is why it's such a hard pill to swallow, perhaps harder from that side, because their whole thing is freedom, feminism, live and let live. However that should look, I'm not going to judge it, right? But as we're seeing, are the first to crucify and judge you. We could expect this from the far right trad wives, all this, because their thing is very like, again, traditional and traditional values and all this. However, as we've seen more recently, the right has aligned themselves with anti-cancel culture, anti-censorship, very libertarian, which is why it grinds my gears when you have like the Megyn Kellys and the Matt Walshes out here, like with their self-appointed like badges, being the police of your family and your fertility and all of it. It's like, what happened? I thought like live and let live, right? So again, it's a harder pill to swallow coming from the left. But what I really thought about with all of this, and it's not, and I'll definitely explore this more because like I said, I was down rabbit holes, like in the pilgrimage pioneering days, like you would never know. Watching interviews from the author herself and Christian women and trad wives who are like, I'm not going to read the book and here's why, or here's what, like, it's a whole thing. It is a whole thing. And at the end of the day, I saw a piece actually in the Free Press that very much captures what I've been trying to say about this and what I've been thinking about it. But it's a very much more the Free Press be like that, but like higher brow. But the idea that whenever your own lifestyle is threatened, that's suddenly when you're on the defense, right? And again, it's hypocritical coming from people who say live and let live, which is what makes it so ironic. But it's like as soon as it's your lifestyle, your way of being, because it sort of threatens your very existence, worldview, how you see things. And I just think that that's so fascinating. Again, whether it's like the liberal feminist writer or the trad wife influencer. Like as soon as it becomes personal, look at with me, even like why I'm so fired up about the egg freezing debate with AOC, like I'm taking it personally because I'm obviously embarking on the journey, right? So it's like whenever it's suddenly personal and whenever we feel threatened or someone's threatening our structure and worldview, that's when the reactions come out. That's when the claws come out. That's when people start like feeling a type of way and getting defensive and where the clash of it all is. So maybe it's a lesson in all of it to of course, like, don't we all want to be liberated and like live and let live truly, to be less judgmental? 100%. But on the flip side is to just give less fucks, which I'm truthfully trying to learn, obviously, in this journey. But it's like, I gotta say, I can't even believe that. I feel like I've entered a parallel universe. The fact that this is the most I've liked AOC and like have resonated. But I have to say, even the way that she's handled all the flack, that's really truly getting weird at this point with her egg freezing. But the way she handles it with such like, be mad, I don't care. I was like, that's such a great lesson. It's sort of like, yes, be judgmental, but more stand in your truth of like, I don't care. I don't care if, you know, it's not an easy thing to do. Again, why I get defensive of, you know, my egg freezing of tits out, brain out, my philosophy, whatever it is, but sort of being in the space of like, be mad, I'm going to do it. And I don't give two shits or rat's ass what you think. Maybe that's where we all need to be and to get to. So, all right, guys, I will see you Wednesday. I have some sick interviews coming up, and come along for the ride. And I will see you there. No barf bag in hand, hopefully. If you know, you know. Be kind. Rewind to the beginning of this episode. See you on Hump Day. Yeah. Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you undetected.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you
Does
already.
this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
messing around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor.